You've just entered the law offices of Quibble, Squabble and Bicker. If you've come for actual legal advice, you need to turn right around, honey. You need to get out of here, 'cause you ain't gonna get none of that. They quibble, and they squabble, and they bicker. But if you want to hear meaningless opinions, this is the right place. They got plenty of that. Stuff that makes no sense at all. They go off on tangents. It's crazy talk. If that's your thing, keep listening. They'll keep talking.
Oh no no, oh no no, it's another episode of the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble and Bicker. You've entered the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble and Bicker. Yay!
Welcome to another edition of the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker on this April 7th, 2021. We have a novelty going on today. We have two extra guests as opposed to our normal one extra guest. We have Nick Tabor and Kaz Foxon. They are from the podcast Movie Theater Time Machine, and they are our guest attorneys today to deal with our client, Hateful... What the hell is the name of it?
Hateful Pulp Dogs.
Hateful Pulp Dogs is our client for the day.
Hateful Pulp Dogs. All right.
Yes.
Hateful Pulp Dogs.
Yeah. So they'll be addressing that later, and they'll be giving our clients some of their insight. But there, as I said before, the Movie Theater Time Machine, and so that is a show where they say they keep it real to real. They analyze movies, and they use their time machine to mess up a movie for comedy or insanity purposes. So just to dig into that a little bit, if you're going to go into insanity purposes, what actual version of insanity are you attempting to elicit from the people
I'll
who
let
are
Kaz take
listening
that
to
one.
you? Are we going for schizophrenia or perhaps just borderline personality disorder? Or what are we trying to cause?
Why not? Can be both.
Why not all of them?
Yeah.
Everything that's in the DSM manual is what you're saying
Pretty
is
much
being induced.
Yeah. Pretty
All right.
much. So we have a patron saint of our parent company, 4041 Media. It's
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken.
Because
So-
reasons?
Okay, yeah, and we don't really know how it actually happened, but like most things, we just kind of say, okay, that's our patron saint. And we went, okay,
So
that works.
Let's replace such and such a character with Christopher Walken or
Yeah.
whoever we could think of to make the movie funnier or crazier or better.
And
Or sometimes directors. How many
Yeah.
times have we had the joke, what if Quentin Tarantino was the director of this movie?
yeah,
I can't
and
think of the best one though.
no,
So in other words, you
Yeah.
take a movie and you adjust the casting or the
Yes.
the crew to
Yeah.
see like a
What if
what if type of scenario.
yeah.
You guys do the
scenario?
voices?
Sometimes we do the voices. Sometimes I do them terribly. Sometimes I do them okay.
Do
Most of
one.
the time,
Do
terribly.
Christopher Walken. Can you do it?
So Christopher Walken would be like, what is the meaning of what happened to the watch that's up my ass? And, then we're doing others like, with the William Shatner just totally breaking that one. I think I did that like 3 months ago.
So you're
we
saying
kinda
instead of
forget
having
that-
William Shatner as Kirk, you would have Christopher Walken playing Kirk?
Yeah. Well, we did one. Like we did actually. That was one of the Star Trek episodes of Christopher Walken was the captain, and he walks in. He's like, we did we did the one like. There's a really great cover. Well, William Shatner did a cover of
Tom, was it?
no. It was what's that?
Oh.
She packed my bags.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, it was the
Rocket Man.
Yeah,
Rocket
yeah.
Man.
So there's like, she packed my bags last night, pre-flights, 0 hour, 9 a.m.
Sorry, are we allowed
I'm
to
gonna be
swear?
high.
Are you allowed to swear? I said any language. So,
By
yes,
that.
Oh,
You
okay.
can swear up a fucking storm. Let me just break the ice.
Okay, I
Okay.
specialize in fucking these.
Yeah, yeah, she does. Yeah.
Brendan
There you
is
go.
quite,
Find it,
Brendan is fluent in that as well.
do you guys
Uh,
find it irresponsible
Oh.
though that do you guys find it irresponsible that you have a time machine and you don't use it to stop JFK's assassination or kill Hitler before he started the Holocaust? You
I
just
think
use it.
their time machine
Let's
only
fuck up
allows them to
movies.
go back in time to an actual movie theater, Greg.
Yeah, we kind of we didn't really know how
Localized.
we really started it. It just kind of happened.
We used
So
to
we're
do improv.
yeah. So we kind of just do the
And then you got tired of it.
yeah. So I mean, we kind of just do the. We're figured what do we want to do with time machines? We're gonna just do the time machine. We're gonna fuck around with it and figure out a way to make each other laugh.
We had improv characters that would come in for every movie, but we got tired of coming up with ideas. So
Yeah.
we changed it to
Yeah.
fantasy
So how
casting.
long ago
Yeah.
did you start Movie Theater Time Machine? When did that begin?
Oh man, it was
4 years ago?
yeah, 4 years, and I like actually telling the story. So it started as a joke originally. So it was a friend of mine who had a podcast called the Blockbuster Dropouts, and it was two brothers and another dude who all got fired from Blockbuster at some point in time. And for those of you listeners who do not remember Blockbuster, think of Netflix where you had to go somewhere, but it might not be available.
All our listeners know what Blockbuster is because we only really target middle-aged ladies.
Oh,
I'm really glad you
How's
used
that working?
the word ladies, Matt. I want to give props to
Yeah,
Matt
interesting.
for using ladies because that makes it even more awkward that we're a ladies show.
We're for the ladies.
I'm gonna drink some white wine right now.
So you were go back to it before you were rudely interrupted. What were you talking
That's
about?
right.
And that
So it
won't be the
started
last
as a
time
joke,
you'll be rudely
and
interrupted.
I was invited onto the show Blockbuster Dropouts, and
Right.
my buddy Josh, who said to me, he's like, "Oh, you did a really great job. I bet you could do a podcast like this." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, we could try to do it." He's like, "It's not easy." He's like, "You're not going to do great," and I'm like, "Well, okay, we'll do great, and we'll do almost the exact same format you did, except older shows." And we were involved with the same podcast company at the time. And about 6 months later, he looked at our show and realized we were better. He quit doing it, and we still keep going.
So how many people were in your initial show? It was just the two of you?
It was the two of us. It was a fun,
Yes.
yeah, and it was some guest kind of revolving, and about 30 or 40 episodes in, we met our friends Dan and Jocelyn, and Joss, and they joined on, and they did a show where we reviewed the movie Good Burger, and there was just a really big kinetic energy, and then
They stayed on.
yeah, and then the four of us just we just stayed and just continued.
And sometimes Chino pipes in and he
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, we have a little pod dog Chino as well, which is about a 6-pound Chihuahua who thinks he's bigger than he really is. And
It's a little
We got
blue
one of those too at Brendan's.
Yeah,
No,
I
no.
have
Hot dog.
I have a pod dog. He's about a 10-pound long-haired dachshund who has,
Aw.
I think, severe anxiety issues.
yeah,
and
that's
so
Chino.
and so when if I'm in the house, he's gonna lose his mind. But when the girls, my wife, my daughters leave, he's just beside himself for hours.
Oh,
He's
damn.
a ladies' man.
Oh,
To
okay,
use
yeah.
ladies again. He's a ladies. He'll come up and he'll look at me and he'll like, oh, God, you're terrible, and go back downstairs and freak out. I can't blame him. I'd feel the same way if I was a 10-pound dog.
Yeah, no,
So what part of the world is your time machine located? Where are you guys calling in from?
we're in Southeast Massachusetts, so we're New England born and raised. So yeah, we're of the Northeast, and I don't sound like it. I sound my accent kind of varies all across the United States.
Does
Yeah.
it? Or is this one of those biased things where you don't realize it?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But we're a part of
I
you.
wouldn't have guessed Massachusetts. I
would have said
Oh, really?
straight out of Alabama, actually.
Straight out of Compton.
I would have
No.
said Midwest, like Michigan, maybe
Yeah.
even Canada, possibly.
Yeah.
The Canadian part of the United States.
Well, it's actually really funny because when I went to Canada, I went to a convention, and I met a really good friend of mine who was from Plymouth, who's actually like 30 miles east of where we are. And this dude, his name was Richie Pryor, and except he was like the polar opposite of when you think Richie Pryor. Most a middle-aged white dude, and he kind, compassionate, but we're doing the Massachusetts thing. And when I'm talking to somebody from Massachusetts, the New England comes right out. So it's like, oh, dude, I'm from fucking Plymouth, you know? Like, dude, we're up there. I'm like, you mean I got to come to another country to meet somebody I could have driven to your house? He's like, you could have driven to my house there, you fucking lazy bastard. And then we hugged each other immediately, like, oh, God, you cool. And like, all the Canadian people are looking around like, oh, God, I'm like, dude, it's a masshole thing. Don't worry about it. We're good. Like,
Yeah.
we're
So I have
fine.
a question for your guys' time machine. So I have theories that most of my friends are tired of hearing them, but I think there's certain golden ages. of
Especially
film.
me, basically me.
Yeah. These guys have to hear them twice a week, my theories. my
That's of
quote-unquote
course
theories.
suggesting that we're your friends too, so that doesn't.
Well, I was
Okay.
going to let that
My
slide,
God.
Matt.
But
anyway.
I was saying that
it's
there's
quite
certain
the
periods in film
assumption, Greg.
where they're like mini golden ages. If you could take your time machine, what's your favorite era of film?
Oh, you should take that one.
Like a 5-year
I can't
period.
even pick a favorite. I can't even pick a favorite movie.
All right. I would say favorite era of film.
In 1909 to 1911.
Oh, that was a good show.
1909. Well, I mean, you're not really that far off, honestly. I would say really like the silent film 1920s Chaplin era for me.
I like
Like,
70s TV.
yeah, and yeah, all right. No, so I mean, it's like
I like
that.
TV.
You know, I
You like
think,
70s TV movies?
Like Columbo?
Like TV.
yeah,
Oh, just
I can't really
television.
pick a favorite movie.
yeah. I would say, yeah.
Like,
that is
like
Company?
Well, how
all
far
of-
back
all-
does your time machine go? I mean, what's the oldest movie that you guys have reviewed on your podcast?
Was the Thomas Edison Frankenstein, wasn't it?
Or was it A Trip to the Moon?
Yeah, that was it. That was the oldest one. That was 18.
No, that was 1900 something.
Yeah, that was real. That was like 1901
Two?
or something like that.
Oh, that was the one that the Smashing Pumpkins music video was based
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
So
you
that's
guys
right.
get
Yeah,
it
that was
on.
based on that. Yeah.
Trip to the
Yeah,
Moon.
with the spaceship
the,
in the eye.
the rocket
of
hit the moon in the eye. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Like a
I
big
think it
pizza
was,
pie.
yeah, nights.
1902.
Yeah. That was
That's
our,
what I
yeah.
said. I
Yeah.
called it.
Nice.
All right,
Okay, you
win,
get
Greg.
the credit, dude.
You're
He
the
was-
winner, Greg.
He was Google before there was Google. Matt.
That's
Oh,
right.
really?
George
Greg,
Malay was the director,
Greg puts the G in
if
Google.
I'm saying it correctly.
I like that.
I was Tinder before there was Tinder too.
were you also Grinder before there was Grinder, Greg?
Yeah, all those things.
Looks like
That
you're also a
was-
stevedore before there was stevedores with your outfit for today.
No, they were there.
No, that's just because he has no heat in his apartment.
I was in the ILWU for 5 years, so I was in the Longshoremen's Union.
Oh, were you really?
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
This
70
is a story I've
Powell's
never heard.
books.
We'll have to
Powell's
dig into
books.
that.
And that's
another
where I'm
time.
going to cut it right off. So 70s
Sorry.
TV is interesting because I grew up on 70s TV and you don't look as old as me. What was your favorite 70s TV show?
Holmes and Yo Yo.
Who?
Get out.
Good take, Matt.
That
What'd
was the
she
worst
say?
show ever.
Holmes
Bozo
and
Yo-Yo? I don't.
I found it on YouTube like a year ago.
Bones and Yo Yo. Who was in
Holmes and
that?
Yo-
Holmes and Yo Yo. They were a detective team, and one was a robot.
Yes.
Somebody
played for
else
yucks.
knows what you're
Oh my
talking
god.
about.
That's 'cause-
I grew up watching that.
I
watched
missed that
everything
one
actually.
entirely.
Even when I was
See, I
12,
was thinking it
thought
would have been
was
like
a guy.
10 Speed and Brown Shoe.
That was a movie. That wasn't a TV show.
No, 10
But
Speed
when
and
I
Brown
was-
Shoe was totally a show. It was Ben Vereen and Jeff Goldblum.
They did a spin-off?
That's
Oh, I
where
didn't know.
that's
I
where
just
Jeff
saw the movie.
Goldblum got his start, was from that TV show. For those of you
Okay.
who are
I didn't know
Uh,
this.
I was being way more basic. I was like, Sanford and Son or Good
Yeah.
Times.
Well,
All in the
no.
Family.
Bones
well,
and
all in
Yo-Yo.
the family that I mean, for me, there's one particular episode of one TV show that encapsulates all great 70s TV in one 20 minutes. Is the hash pot, the hashish episode of Barney Miller.
I don't
And-
know.
I don't
I saw
remember that
Barney
one.
Miller, but I don't remember that
Yeah.
particular episode.
Okay, it's on YouTube. It's basically where Barney Miller, where one of the detectives brings in pot brownies to the precinct, and everybody gets stoned off their ass. And
This
there's
vaguely
a great-
reminds. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I remember this one.
There's a great line for Abe Vigoda's character Fish, where he looks around and he just holds their bed is first time I felt great in 20 years, and it's got to be illegal. It's just
That's so true.
And with
Andrew
Jack
Goda's
Stewart
classic.
coming in, he goes, anybody see my legs? Got 10 toes.
Do you guys
one of
ever
them
review?
bust. What's that?
Do you guys ever review TV shows, or you just do movies?
Yes, yeah. So we do have a Patreon show that we're kind of retooling right now. It's called TV Time Machine, where we do pick a TV show
episode that goes with the theme of the month.
Thank you. Yeah. So we do that. Like the Barney Miller was the first episode where I'm like, okay, we just gotta play it. Yeah, we played that, and that was just funny. Oh man, that's just damn funny.
Like we did the Trouble with Tribbles.
Yes.
For Star Trek month, and then we did the Deep Space Nine episode that
they went in the background of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for your Patreon channel.
Yeah. We're retooling it, and also we are actually retooling our Patreon, and we might release some of the TV Time Machine episodes onto our free feed very soon.
So you're gonna have a whole time machine empire going on, TV time machine.
Pretty much.
Probably old radio serials as well, I would think at some
I don't
point.
even know where you find that.
Yeah. I would love to do. We toyed with it. I mean, we all have day jobs, so I mean, we toyed with the idea of doing some sketches, but some of it never really got consistent, so we kind of put that to bed real quick. But old radio serials would be pretty funny. Actually.
How could you have day jobs? You've been doing this for 4 years. Shouldn't you be rich by now running a podcast?
Aren't you?
We haven't been doing it for 4 years.
Well,
we expect good things to happen.
Yeah, we do have sponsors, and I mean, we do have to try to be able to keep things to break even. So we're trying our best to do it. And I hate to blame everything on the pandemic, but the pandemic happened, and it's a little harder to be able to get everything together. So once we're almost on the other side of all this, so hopefully it'll get better and better and better. And once celebrities stop taking the podcast space, it'll be a little easier.
Still doing that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were on this great show 20 years ago. Great, go get a fucking job again.
Oh, so you're saying the celebrities are being the competition for podcast time these days?
Oh, absolutely. By far, absolutely. Like you talk about anything with, we have a mutual friend, Steve, who has all these actor friends who can get us to get podcasts on there. They're jumping around doing all the great things, which is nice. But then you have, ours is really a nostalgic show. So we aim for people who are, mid-20s to, the mid-50s housewives. Sorry to infringe on the competition, but
no, we don't use housewives. Ours are just ladies.
Yeah, they're ladies, like older ladies of the evening is our niche.
It's only middle-aged prostitutes who listen
old
to our
retired
show.
Prostitutes is really our. We've carved out this niche, and we just keep
very carved.
It's the madams of whorehouses.
We just keep diving deeper and deeper into our audience.
So it's like the people in the ladies in Porky's.
Yeah.
Some of them probably. You want a peek, darling?
Yeah.
Just picturing Roger Smith.
Do you guys remember the first movie you ever saw when you were like 5 or something? What was the first movie that made an impression on you? Like, whoa.
I don't know how old I was, but I saw Babar the elephant, and I was so bored. I was like climbing over some chairs or something.
They were pretty boring. They were too.
Were you in a theater climbing over chairs watching Babar? You were just like.
Well, I don't know if I was really climbing, but I feel like it was so long ago. I just feel like I was moving around doing something. I don't know. I was just really bored.
Yeah.
Cartoon elephants. It's understandable. And they used to be in French too, which was even harder to understand.
Wasn't the Babar though? Wasn't that more like live action, or was that a remake?
No, live action Babar. I would love. I would actually pay to see live action Babar.
Like CGI animated, like whatever. Not 2D animation.
Yeah.
It's sad though. The CIA took out Babar in the 70s.
Yeah.
Well, that's because
That's good.
That-
Now
he
he's
knew
running
too
Liberia.
much.
That's right.
Babar knew too much.
Yeah.
Well,
He was in with
he was
Winnie the
left-leaning.
Pooh. Oh well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is he
But
like the prince of a colony or something
I
bad?
Babar
like
is now the
that?
dictator of a small African nation.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yes.
he was the
okay,
ruler
well,
of a country, I believe.
I thought
the
he was
king.
running a cult in Santa Barbara.
Oh.
Well,
The
that's
Babar
when
cult.
that trained him for his African dictatorship.
Oh, I
Oh, okay.
So you have to get training
So-
somewhere for that.
see.
So
Sure.
Nick, do you remember what your first movie was, or at least one that made an impression on you?
Well, the first one that ever really made an impression on me was I can't say the one in theaters. I remember my sister dragging me to a theater because she had to babysit me. And I'm just like, similar to Kaz, just kind of looking around, like, not knowing what's going on. I was like maybe 3 or 4. But one of the biggest ones that ever made an impression on me was the original Karate Kid. And it was back with, like the whole Blockbuster thing. We had a grocery store nearby that used to rent movies. And
Yeah.
and it was just, my dad kept renting it and renting it and renting it. And the owner of the place was like, you just want to buy it because you practically paid for it. And, I've seen that first movie probably so many times. It came out locally on the day I was born, and I actually am a black belt in my own studio.
Wow.
So, like,
That's the day job. You're a black belt.
No, but my day job, I'm a manager at a community health center, and I help run the vaccine clinic.
Yeah, he's not a black belt in any martial art. He just owns a belt that's black.
That's black. Yeah, J.C. Penney,
Oh.
$3.99. It was cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen you.
I got one of those.
I
Yeah,
could do that.
right. No, but I am actually. There's another thing. I'm a personal trainer, and I've been in the martial arts for about 30 years.
I'm an elastic belt.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's one that I trained
Yeah.
for by overeating.
it's expensive, I heard.
It's very expansive. Yes, continues to be.
No belt.
Well, I think this is a good time to dig into our client, because I think our client needs help. And our client, once again, is Hateful Pulp Dogs, which is essentially us discussing, is Tarantino overrated? Is he given too much credit for his movies? No, he's done 9 of them now. So,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
supposedly
God.
at number 10, he's going to be retiring so that he has his canon set in stone. So, is there a Tarantino movie that any of you, that includes Greg and Brandon, that any of you felt just got a little too many accolades, that was treated too highly?
Once upon a time in Hollywood.
Django Unchained.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Django. I haven't seen Once Upon a Time, so I can't really speak to that.
Oh, it's so long, and
Yeah.
you're waiting for something to happen, and
It's 3.5.
10 minutes at the end of the movie,
Yeah.
finally something happens.
Yeah, it's a 3.5 hour late 60s jerk off. It
Some people call Brendan that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally, I was a late 60s jerk off, and here I am,
It really is super overrated.
The snatches of threads that could become plot, like the
Yeah.
actor who's questioning whatever he's questioning. I don't know.
Yeah,
Who's lost his way, I guess.
right. Yeah, that was Brad Pitt's character.
But that-
I thought the Bruce Lee scene. The Bruce Lee scene was one
Yeah.
scene that was almost like, this is what Tarantino used to always do in every scene
Yeah.
of his movies. Every scene was
Yeah.
unto itself was a great,
Right.
entertaining little scene. And he's
Yeah.
lost his way, I think, in the past 5 movies where his movies aren't like that. But that Bruce Lee scene, you could feel it in the crowd. I saw it in the theater.
Yeah,
Everyone
me
was
too.
perked up and laughing and just
Yeah.
into it.
I think for Tarantino himself, he is overrated, but I think he's very much he forgot his multiverse in a way, because that scene itself explains, it links his movie to Death Proof, to that one, because Stuntman Mike was the stuntman there, and it explains why he had the scar in his eye, because Bruce Lee threw something and hit him in the face, and that's how he got that scar.
Oh,
And,
Christ. So I'm just now watching
Yeah.
Death Proof today.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I didn't even get the correlation between the two movies. And I've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood too.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, that makes sense to me. That's quite
Yeah,
fascinating.
and Django Unchained, you know, his Django's wife was Paula Schultz, and in Kill Bill 2, she crawls out of the lonely grave of Paula Schultz. And you know, it's all looped together, but he really forgot about his universe. And you know, he's trying to be like, hey man, I got a movie that's gonna be great, and it's gonna be 10 minutes of feet. Why? Because feet.
10 minutes of feet?
Yeah, okay. All right. So
he's a foot fetish.
He's got a foot.
He's got
If
foot
you've ever
fetish stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely was noticing that in Death Proof, where there's a lot of women's feet hanging out of windows.
No, it's like it's like
all of his movies.
Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he's just like this. You know? And he's just like foot. Like
I'm gonna have to watch that movie again because I was too busy like just being confused by it most of the time, going, "What's going on here? What am I watching?" Because I try to go into Tarantino movies without having watched any previews and just going in blind.
Which is the best way to do it for some of the older.
Matt, do you remember From Dusk Till Dawn? Do you remember From Dusk Till Dawn?
Sure.
No.
So remember when he has that scene where he drinks the like tequila off of Selma Hayek's foot? The actor, Quentin Tarantino, he wrote the script of that movie. He basically wrote the script so he could have that scene. And do his fetish.
Because he had a thing of Selma Hayek's feet.
Yeah, I would.
Now,
I'd write that.
If you had that power, don't tell me you wouldn't do that. I would. I mean, I don't know that I would write drinking on Selma Hayek's feet, but if I could get away with it, sure. So my question is, what is his? What do we think is his best movie? What is the number one movie of Quentin Tarantino's?
Well, there's favorite and then there's
Kill Bill
best,
2.
which I think are different.
Okay, so let's go with fair enough. Thank you, Captain Quibble. So let's go with favorite.
I will accept that. I'll accept my nomination as a captain.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go right along with both of us. Kill Bill 1 and 2 was absolutely fantastic.
When I think of a Tarantino movie, that's what I think.
Yeah,
I think that's the first one I saw.
Yeah, he probably was. Yeah, probably was for you. I would say Kill Bill 1 and 2 are just perfect kung fu and spaghetti western movies. And that's what I grew up on.
Stylized blood.
I love those too, but I still think Uma Thurman's a terrible actress. Somehow that movie, I still love it, even though the main lead I think is horrible.
Yeah.
And David Carradine has always been a terrible actor.
Yeah.
No, he's great.
But as an ensemble, they're amazing.
Yeah,
like
it's a great.
Nobody really is a great actor there, except for Samuel L. Jackson has a cameo in that because he has a contract to be in every Tarantino movie.
Huh.
Yeah. Because in Pulp Fiction, he signed the contract that any future movie he makes, he gets first look at the script. Kill Bill 2, he's in the wedding scene. He's the piano player. He doesn't say a word.
Well,
so like, where's Waldo?
I gotta say though, Michael Madsen in Kill Bill 2, that scene where he talks to David Carradine about she deserves her revenge. Yeah, that scene I thought was brilliant acting. That was like some of the best acting I'd seen in years.
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Scene.
You mean from Michael Madsen in general?
Yeah, Michael Madsen.
Because Michael Madsen, well, he's very iconic in his roles with Tarantino movies, is again a piece of wood as an actor.
Yeah, I mean, he keeps the same cast around because basically no one else knows what to do with him.
Can I ask you guys, whenever you hear Stuck in the Middle with You on the radio, I can't get the ear choppers get on my head. That song is forever entwined.
I was going to say, that's my favorite Tarantino movie is Reservoir Dogs.
Me too. Yeah. I agree with Brendan.
Well, I think Reservoir Dogs, for me, it's one of my favorites. It's the one I probably recommended the most to other people. Pulp Fiction has the strongest place in my heart in terms of Tarantino flicks, and as growing up in that era when these movies were coming out, and Pulp Fiction was like nothing else that had been in the theaters before. It was just this weird ride that you went through with just a lot of great lines, a lot of interesting camera work, and a lot of like high tension moments in it, which just was just fantastic. Then Kill Bill came along, and then that was a whole different ride in and of itself. So it's like it's hard for me to like specify which movie I think was the best. You know,
But-
then Jackie Brown was in the middle of all of that too,
Oh yeah.
which was just
But-
different from all the other ones
But
as well.
but not to quibble, Matt. We're talking about favorite, not best.
Right.
What's
Yeah.
your personal favorite?
That's the tricky one. So it's kind of like, I think the one I've watched the most, because I'll have to go based upon that. The one that I've been willing to watch the most, show other people, is probably Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Because
but
I just
I got it.
enjoyed
I gotta
it so
jump
much.
in. I gotta say though, Inglorious Bastards is probably
Wait, he did that?
he did.
Oh, I
Yeah,
forgot about
that
that.
one is
That was
like
great.
that. I have a very big upset. Like in the city where we live in, we have the world's largest World War II museum.
On the battleship.
Next to the Naval Yard, and I mean, I have been obsessed with World War II all my life, but that World War II fantasy flick, goddamn beautiful.
Did it
I like
bother you
it.
that it changed history? Did
No.
I was pleasantly surprised.
No,
Yeah.
they took a machine gun and shot the hell out of Hitler.
in
Spoilers.
1944, right? In Paris. Supposedly
Yeah,
he died.
all right, cool.
I thought it was gutsy for a director to do that. Say, I'm going to make a World War II movie, and I'm not even going to accept history. I'm just going to make up shit.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Well, he
That
did
was
that with Once
awesome.
Upon a Time in Hollywood too. He just
Exactly.
changed that as
Yeah.
well. But we're not going to give up more because Brendan hasn't seen it, so we don't want to spoil
Oops.
it. But you know, in
I've
Glorious
already been
Bastards,
spoiled.
my issue is that I'm just so tired of Nazi movies, and I enjoyed the movie in and of itself, but I'm just so
right.
tired of that genre because I've seen so many World War II movies in my life, and lots of Nazi movies and Holocaust movies and all that thing, and I'm like, yeah, it was good that he did that, but you know, Christoph Waltz was brilliant in that movie.
Oh, the
And
Sorry.
you know, I like
Miller.
Brad Pitt in it as
Goddamn.
well,
Yeah.
but the point for me is just like, it's another freaking Nazi movie. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
I can't get as behind it, you know.
Yeah, I think I told it the first time we saw this. Like we were in a hotel in Providence, Rhode Island, and I remember. You remember that first time
Once
we
upon
saw
a time
this?
in Providence, Rhode Island.
Once upon a time in Providence, yeah, where you go ahead get the
That's-
cannoli and hang around Federal Hill.
That's a very different movie.
That is true. Yeah, that
Not
is
as
true.
exciting.
Watch out for Buddy. Yeah, watch out for Buddy Cianci with the fire log. But there's a deep cut. But we watched it in Providence, and we're in this hotel room hanging around watching this, and that pan up shot when you see like they're in that cafe. Remember, they're in that cafe, and there's that pan up shot, and you see Christoph Waltz, and you see like it's the girl that was at the very beginning who ran away from him.
Right.
And you're like, oh man, that he didn't even have to say a
Oh.
fucking word, and I was already terrified.
I was just thinking of the whole
Yeah.
asking the family for milk thing.
Yeah, that whole thing. I'm like, he doesn't even have to say anything. He just like, look at that. He's like, oh, but he's wait for the creme. I'm like, what the
Ugh.
fuck? I'm like, no, look, you're a fucking scary Nazi. You deserve to die.
You scary Nazi.
Yeah. No.
Hey,
American.
England area pretty well, I imagine.
Oh, Greg,
Do you
you've
guys
gone
know the Rhode
robotic
Island
on us.
area pretty well.
Yeah. What happened, dude?
Greg, you went.
Doing the
Greg, you went robot.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what'd
Yeah.
you
Am I
say?
still robotic?
No, you're good.
So I was curious, guys. You're familiar with Rhode Island? Do you know that Netflix just a month ago premiered a horror movie that takes place on Block Island? Are
Really?
you guys familiar with Block Island in Rhode Island?
Yeah.
I went there once
Yeah,
a long time ago.
Yeah.
There's a major Netflix movie. Like, well, it's not major, but it's on Netflix. So, and it's
Yeah.
like some horror movie about Block Island.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I read about that. No, Netflix threw a ton of money because of COVID. All the tourism just went away.
Yeah.
And Block Island's not going to survive unless people go buy that black dog sweatshirt or whatever.
I thought that was Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, or Block Island too, or like or go take the ferry somewhere or whatever. But so like okay, we'll film a movie on there. I'm like, cool, like great, and no, Rhode Island in general has a history
Coffee milk.
of coffee milk and also giving like
Fraps.
really, really super bad deals to movies, to movie studios.
I didn't think movie
So,
studios would want to film. it.
Yeah, well, movie studios and famous people.
Mm.
So, like, for example, like Kurt Schilling wanted to create a gaming company, and Kurt Schilling, a pitcher for the Red Sox,
Oh,
and he convinced the state of Rhode Island to go in and I guess we're getting to Tarantino again because of feet, but he convinced the state of Rhode Island to be able to give like billions and billions of dollars to him to create a great video game, be the next video game empire. And his company created a video game of dragons and monsters sword fighting.
I thought it was dinosaurs or something.
Dragons and dinosaurs sword fighting. Yeah, you're right. And it was awful. Like, it immediately went bankrupt in the States. Like,
Never again.
what about our money? Like, we don't have the money. We lost it.
Well, that was a big. That was a big story.
Well, I kind of want to get into the story of the dragons and dinosaurs sword fighting. So, who made the swords for them? How do they hold them? And
T-Rex, that was the problem. He'd be like,
they held them like this or something.
In the mouth.
Or,
the mouth sword.
They sword fight and they did the like. But the idea that was pitched for his studio was like Kurt Schilling was one of the high-end players when the Red Sox won the 2000 World Series and broke the Babe Ruth curse. So the original one of the original pitches.
One second.
Brendan has to make a disclaimer about Greg and I in sports.
No, I wasn't going to say that.
Oh.
I was joking with them when you were coming on, and they were like, "Yeah, with this time machine." And I made a joke, like I pretend like I didn't know. And I'm like, "Oh, I did all this research on baseball. We're not talk about baseball." Anyway, so now we're talking about baseball. That was my only point.
But I think when he said Red Sox, I don't think Greg knew that he was talking about a baseball team. He was probably talking about actual socks that were red.
Possibly.
I think Greg thought.
Yeah, but
man, I know plenty about the Red Sox. I know people from New Hampshire.
Do you know about the Sweat Sox, Greg? Are you familiar with that baseball team? The Sweat Sox, Greg?
No, that's not a real team, man. I would if it were real.
It is.
I know about
the Green Bay Sweat Sox. Where's a giant
the Sweat
baseball
Hogs.
team.
I know about the Sweat Hogs.
You don't know about the Sweat Sox? The Green Bay Sweat Sox. They were a huge
Mr.
team.
Cotton.
They won the World
Mr.
Series
Cotton.
at least 20 times. Anyway.
Okay, let's get back to the baseball story.
All right, so
Quentin Tarantino was playing baseball in Boston.
No, dinosaurs were on the sword fighting at a Red Sox.
So dinosaurs were sword fight, but the original idea for what the pitch for the game was that you, going back to what we are, like you fell into a time machine as the player, and you fell into the 2004 winning World Series, Red Sox team, and you had to repeat history and you had to win or else the curse would continue.
This is like the land of the lost for baseball.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you're like, oh, this is going to be cool. And, they do that. And they're like, nah, that's not good enough. No one's going to buy that. I'm like, dude, there's a fucking gold mine. For God's sakes. Like, that's like, okay, now
be fighting slee stacks on the mound. Yeah. Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you get that, like, no, we're going to have animals sword fight.
I don't know. There's a picture of a knight on this. I was looking it up just to make sure.
Oh, really?
Sure.
So you have the actual video game there, Kaz?
Just looking it up on the wiki on my phone.
Speaking of Kaz, what the hell is that on your head? Anyway, it looks like a marshmallow melted on your head.
It's my box hat.
It's a hat.
Oh, got it.
And you can tell us apart.
Yeah, good thing.
Fantasy game.
Yeah, it would have been like identical twins if it weren't for that hat.
Right. Yeah.
I want to see slee
we couldn't
stacks
tell them apart.
Swords. Can we see slee stacks with swords? Just once, please.
I guess
they were peaceful. The slee stacks.
Fantasy game.
Yeah.
Oh, they
weren't the slee stacks always after the family though?
No, they were like this mystical order of druids almost. They were
they weren't. They were retards with bad aim with crossbows. They weren't peaceful.
No, the slee stacks controlled those what do they call those towers that like controlled the weather and everything?
By the way, Brendan's in Florida. That's why he uses such a language. Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're in Massachusetts. I think Massachusetts still allows retard.
Yeah.
If you've heard wicked before, wicked retarded.
No, dude, I don't give a shit. No.
See, they're now that they've
I'll just stick with wholesome words like fuck.
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Wholesome.
They're in Portland, so that's why retard is a thing for them.
Oh, okay. Which Portland?
Oh, Maine.
Not the Maine kind.
No.
The burning down the house kind out in the West Coast.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
That's right. Portland doesn't exist anymore. It's actually been flattened. We had a nuclear weapon go off here. There are no buildings anymore. It's worse than the Republicans ever said. You know,
I'm like Mad Max.
Right.
Oh, the damn
Well,
donut
like-
stuff's gone though.
More like Sad Max, I think. Really.
Actually,
Yes.
speaking of
Mad
Mad Max, that's
I
you
am
know
Sad
Tarantino
Max.
should take over the Mad Max franchise. I think.
He couldn't do any better than George Miller, though. Who could ever compete with George Miller?
Oh, that was
director.
Fury Road was pretty awesome. That's
God.
great.
Sad Max flattened road is just one guy complaining on his front lawn.
Yeah.
Sad
It's
Max.
too hot out here.
There's
I'm
no
not gonna-
water. I can't find food or water. This sucks.
So
This
we've
is
talked about
awful.
favorite Tarantino movies. So this isn't my favorite, but I think it's probably the best of the Tarantino movies. I think Jackie Brown is probably the best Tarantino movie, even though it's not my favorite Tarantino movie.
That's an
I think it's-
interesting pick.
It's like the
Yeah.
most well crafted, I think, of them.
It's-
It's got really good pacing, and it doesn't rely on a lot of violence. It's I think it's a smarter movie than the others in that sense. But that's just
But there is
what
foot
I- what I
fetishism
think.
in that one too. Remember?
There is.
You know, if you
is.
guys hadn't mentioned that he had a foot fetish, I wouldn't have even picked that up from all the movies. I wouldn't. Have.
Oh,
They're
I
just like
think I
different
wouldn't either.
scenes of.
yeah.
with
But
the
now you're not
actors,
going to unsee it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
all
I
you're
think
gonna
I'll.
notice.
I think I'll probably ignore it as well. You know, my memory's
Yeah,
not
you
that
can't
good. I
really-
forget all
you
this
can't really
stuff.
not notice it, dude.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of that is directly involving feet in my memory of the Tarantino movies is the squishing of the eyeball. That's the
Oh, yeah.
scene that
Yeah.
stays in my mind.
Yeah.
Kill Bill
Yeah.
2, I think it was. Where was it? Kill
Yep.
Bill? I can't remember which
Kill
one.
Bill 2, yeah, where she did it to Black Mob.
She
Yeah.
He also has an
eyeball
injury
out.
to eye fetish. Quentin
Yeah.
Tarantino.
He has an eye fetish.
True.
Is it
Injury
about
to eye.
like
Injury
skull fucking
die.
or
Yeah,
something?
I'd say so. Yeah.
He has a thing about that. Well, he has a thing about just violence in general. So which would be worse, the guy who directed A Clockwork Orange or Tarantino?
You mean Stanley Kubrick?
Oh.
Yes.
Stanley
The
Kubrick.
guy.
The guy. You know
That
the
guy.
guy.
The guy.
Sorry,
Oh, that
Yeah,
guy.
the thing who does the thing.
I didn't watch it the whole way through.
Yeah, we couldn't finish Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Really?
It's rough. It's a
It's
rough
good.
movie.
but it's so
Yeah.
good.
It is good.
It's
but
ultra
it's rough.
violence. That's what.
Yeah.
So what was it in Clockwork Orange that made you go, "We got to get out"?
Yeah, where'd you go?
It-
Nope.
Was it the raping part or?
Yeah, I think
Yeah. I
It's a
think
lot of
that-
rape.
Yeah, it was a while back when we saw that.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, at least, at least 15 years. So I
It might
guess
be
that was one of-
time. It might be time
Yeah.
to revisit it from like a more sterile perspective with less
Could probably do
emotional
it.
association.
I'm willing to try it, but it
Yeah.
just I just remember we were like, yeah, no.
Yeah, the main thing is it's based upon the book, and that I mean it's not directly like following the book's story,
Yeah.
but it takes most of those concepts from the book, and so you kind of have to power your way through that part of the movie to
Yeah,
get
the-
to the real meat of it.
Well, you guys know that Stanley Kubrick purposefully made Alex more sympathetic than in the book. Like, for example, that cat lady that they invade her house and rape her, they make her this like horrible harridan. And so like it's almost like that's the way Hollywood is. Like, even though Alex is a monster, you kind of have to almost want him to win at the end in this weird, sick way. So
Well,
they
that's-
changed things specifically for the movie to make it like I think the girl that he takes home in the book, when he's at the record store, she's like
Yeah.
13 in the book. She's like, it's really much worse. And Alex is still terrible in the movie, but he purposely did that because they knew that nobody would want to watch a movie about a complete. He is a monster, but
Yeah.
like even more reprobate.
I think
Greg is
an
an
audience-
expert on all things reprobate.
Oh yeah, I'm good at that.
And picking up 13-year-olds at the record store.
What?
Yeah.
That's
That's
slander.
quite the accusation, Brendan.
I'm suing you, one lawyer to another. I'm suing you for slander.
Hey, I'm in Florida. You know, I'll be defending Matt Gates in our next episode. So we'll just
You mean Beavis who merged into Butthead?
yeah. What is up with that dude's head?
Yeah.
God, it's so weird. I don't know.
So would you guys say that Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
Actually, Kaz was trying to say something earlier, and we all interrupted her.
Oh,
so we should let her.
Kaz, go.
Okay,
I feel like audiences, no matter who the main character is always, they're always going to, whether they like it or not, relate to the main character because that's whose perspective the story is told from.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find myself like seeing movies about like serial killers, and you're almost like, oh, look how clever they are. I almost want them to get away from the cops.
Yeah.
Like this weird, because they're the protagonist.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to take this introspective look and go, I should not be rooting for this person. And like, why am I like wanting him to get away with whatever it is? I'm like, no, he's just a criminal fuckhead. And it's the die. And but instead you're going, why? I hope it all works out.
Well,
okay
Pulp
for
Fiction did that perfectly. You had terrible people with interesting stories.
Yeah.
You had Vincent Vega and what was Samuel L. Jackson's character. But one of the very first scenes, you got two hitmen who are just paid assassins going and just talking about random life.
Burgers?
Yeah, burgers and talking about what's cheating here, giving a wife a foot massage versus sticking your tongue in the holiest of holy holes is not really, that's not cheating. And then, then just, doing that thing and just talking like everyday life and then going in ready to kill somebody. Like, that's just terrible. All of, Pulp Fiction, everybody in that movie is a horrible person. But you're rooting for them to keep going. And at the very end, when...
Wait, was Bruce Willis's wife a horrible person?
Well...
She was needy. Very needy.
Yeah, needy, yeah. But it's still like, nobody put it this way.
She wasn't redeeming. Let's just put it that way. She wasn't like... Likeable.
Thank you. Yeah, nobody was an angel in this.
Okay.
Like even Christopher Walken talking about
wait, what about the Gimp though? He was a good guy.
Yeah, well,
no,
he's stuck in a basement. What do you expect from him? He's tortured.
I don't think you get in the Gimp's position without some sort of weird backstory.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but you have like even Christopher Walken, who's still like he's this. Veteran coming in to give a kid his birthright, but he's still stuck a watch up his ass for 4 years. It's still like he's still went through some stuff and said, okay, now I got to give this watch to my dead friend's son. So it's like that. Nobody's like, oh, thank you, man. But nobody's really like 100% redeemable. Nobody's an angel in that movie, but you still want to be like, okay, you want Butch to win to get away from Marcellus Wallace. You want all that stuff to go right, but nobody's good at all.
That's kind of a theme through, I think, just about all of Tarantino's movies. Because even the cop in Reservoir Dogs, he still killed somebody.
Still dirty. Yeah.
Can we bring up Tarantino as an actor though? He insists on keeping he's terrible, right?
Remember the Australian accent from Django?
Yeah. The best part of that movie is when he blew himself up. No, crikey.
Even Pulp Fiction.
I was going to say, I think in Pulp Fiction, I think I got it. I think that was almost Tarantino playing himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And that was fine with me.
It's so it takes you out of the movie when he's like, my wife buys shit coffee. I like good coffee. My wife buys shit. It's like, what is it? Why is this in the movie? It's terrible.
What are they? They look like dorks. They look like a couple of dorks.
It's because he was a video store clerk who became a director, and he went, I'm getting in these movies.
I know.
It's like, it's going to happen. I'm not necessarily Hitchcock, but I'm getting in there, and you're going to remember it.
You're going to be forced to watch it.
Should we talk about True Romance at all?
It's kind of a Tarantino movie, I think.
Well, he wrote it. He didn't direct it.
No, I know, but it feels like a Tarantino movie.
Christopher Walken was in it.
You're talking about that, though. Tarantino ghost wrote a movie that everybody forgot about. A movie called It's Pat.
He ghost wrote It's Pat?
Get out.
He did.
He ghost wrote
It's Pat. A movie about one joke about a horrible Saturday Night Live sketch whether you didn't know someone was a boy or a girl.
That's like me. That's why I like Pat.
Oh my God. He ghost wrote that horrible movie they made about a really crappy
about an androgynous person.
It's not
SNL
horrible.
skit.
It's
This
not horrible.
uncredited rewrite. So
Yeah. No, he ghost wrote that and he was in interviews. He admitted he rewrote the whole fucking thing.
Well, Nick, don't forget too. He did Natural Born Killers for Oliver Stone, but he took his name off. But you can see that he wrote a lot of that. And if you watch the cut scenes on the DVD, they're total Tarantino.
Now, you know what? That would have been a much better movie if he had directed it.
Yeah.
I think it's a damn good movie the way Oliver Stone directed it.
I think they need to take Pat and throw it into a more current Tarantino movie. I think if Pat was the Gimp, it would have like changed things up completely in Pulp
That could
Fiction.
have been great.
Like, took off the mask, and you're like, "Who are you?" I'm Pat.
Or she could have been an SS officer in Inglourious Bastards.
Yes.
We don't know.
Or Christoph Waltz is Pat.
Oh my God! Imagine how that scene would have played out.
Like a whole Scooby-Doo thing where he goes,
Guess
and I would
what?
have got away with it.
Or Hitler, for
these-
that matter. And then it's like it explains the death at the end.
There you go.
He could have certainly gotten away with it.
It wasn't really Hitler, it was Pat.
Pat was actually responsible for the Holocaust.
Holy shit!
Although it was, can we speak for a minute how Saturday Night Live would never in a million years get away with that skit in today's environment? Oh my God! If they brought out this, ambiguous, androgynous person and then just made total like shit on this person for 5-6 minutes, oh my God!
I can never figure out why Pat got a movie, but Massive Head Wound Harry didn't.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That would have been a better movie, in my opinion.
Because you'd have to have the whole backstory of the head wound, and then of course, maintaining it throughout the movie.
I just wish those Night at the Roxbury guys got their own movie. They were hilarious.
They did.
You didn't see the movie, Greg?
I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
It was a shitty idea and an even shittier movie.
It was a shitty movie.
And the sad thing about that, Greg, is I've seen that movie probably 3 times.
Yeah.
Sorry.
A better Saturday Night Live one was The Ladies' Man. That one was funny as hell.
I never saw that one.
I don't think I saw that
knew
one.
what it was. It didn't try to pull any punches.
It's a movie too, right?
It was, but the movie knew what it was. It didn't try to pull any punches, and it was what it was, and it was awesome.
Have you guys
Tim
seen the
Meadows
Stuart
is definitely
Smalley
very
movie?
underrated of the Saturday Night Live movie guys.
Have you guys
I'm
seen
right
Al
with you,
Franken?
dude.
Yeah.
The Stuart Smalley movie? That's a weird little movie.
Stuart
with
Smalley?
Al Franken?
He's the guy who goes, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough.
like me.
and
I'm
people like me."
okay.
The movie is
Yeah.
actually very weird because it's a goofy comedy in a way, but it also is very like trying to be talking about therapy and how it can help people, which I'm not into therapy at all. I've never gone to a therapist or anything, but it's kind of moving at the end. It's actually a little touching for a Saturday Night Live goofy, stupid comedy.
Oh wait, shit! This is real.
Yes, I didn't make it up.
I don't know what I've never seen this,
Smiling?
and oh my God,
I'm tracking it down.
Yeah,
you should check it out. It's
That's
not that
the
great.
theme you guys should do for like next month. You should do all the Saturday Night Live movies that have been done.
Ooh.
You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
do
look
like
forward to the
Blues
panel on that,
Brothers
but
and
That's a tough row to hoe.
oh God, the
every
Blues
Adam
Brothers-
Sandler movie.
Every Adam Sandler movie.
No,
I'll do it all in
Kids
5
movie.
seconds.
They're all Saturday Night Live skits that have gone
That's
on
part of
too
a
long.
movie.
All
the
of them.
the Blues Brothers is such an amazing movie. I
It is.
my 25-year-old daughter, I said Dan Aykroyd. She goes, "Who's that?" And I'm like,
Elwood.
"Oh no."
It's
Yeah.
Elwood.
I said
Oh, yeah.
Elwood, and she goes, "Elwood what?" And I said the Blues Brothers. She's like, "What?" Oh wait, I think I know what that is. And then so that movie is shit. Everyone should watch the Blues Brothers.
You just said that
I
movie
agree.
is shit, is what you just
Yeah.
said, Brandon.
Did you force your daughter to watch it right then and there?
Oh, I didn't. No, I didn't. I should have, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Did you tell her
Dave-
that you're on a mission from God?
You're a
Yeah.
bad father.
I am a bad father. It's true.
I used to teach at a Catholic school. And
That always is the beginning of a great story.
oh, it's hilarious. But there was
But don't judge me.
yeah, it was When I used to teach over there, I used to go see the when we check in, we had to go see the principal personally, who was a nun named Sister Marie. And every time a buddy of mine would call me, as soon as he knew, he would follow me and he'd call me from his car. And he'd go, "You promised when you got out you had to go visit the penguin. Go visit the penguin." And I'm like, yes, yes, it's so good. But every time I see her, I'm like, oh fuck, I can't say anything. I can't. I just start laughing.
You gotta visit the penguin. Ruler. And on a weird piece of movie trivia, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about, except for the word penguin, Benedict Cumberbatch cannot pronounce the word penguin without calling it penguin.
Penguin.
He cannot pronounce the word penguin for some reason.
We find penguin.
This guy, who's actually a very lucid, enunciatory actor, can't say penguin for some reason.
I think it has to do with his cheekbones.
Yeah,
the cheekbones are like sunken in, and they prevent.
There's
some
kind of weird.
Yeah,
you don't think he was like attacked by penguins as a child, possibly?
Yeah, really?
Maybe, but I doubt it.
Huh.
I would like to say, guys,
I think Kaz is saying something very profound there in the background.
Sorry.
What are you saying there, Kaz?
I read that French people can't say squirrel.
What do they say instead? Damn rodent?
Squirrel.
Yeah, wow.
If you ever notice, the British say it's squirrel.
They do?
Yeah.
Yes, they start listening to like British people talking. If they say the word squirrel, you'll start hearing squirrel. Is what they say. Not squirrel. And I realized this one time because I was watching a movie or something, and somebody said squirrel, and then there's this song from Elton John called "Burn Down the Mission," where it has the word squirrel in it, and I listened to it, and he did it that way. And Phil Collins does a cover of that song, and he also sang it as squirrel, the squirrels. So if you hear British people say the word squirrel, pay close attention. For again, I don't know why I suddenly have weird British animal pronunciations that I'm talking about today. Cumberbatch and
that's all I'm gonna be
penguins.
thinking about for a few days.
Yeah, they also say
client.
They also say Herb. You know,
Yeah.
that kind of makes sense.
You know, it's a guy named Herb. You got to call him Herb.
Yeah.
And paying homage to things.
Yeah.
I just want to sum up, and I think that Quentin Tarantino in the first 4 movies of his career couldn't have been rated high enough, and now he is overrated.
Yeah,
he was just hitting it out of the park. Every fucking movie was one of the best movies you've ever seen. So like, no matter how highly you rated him, it's like, yeah, he's earning it. He deserves it.
Yeah, the first 5 I think were like his heyday.
Yeah.
And then
tell me, what were the first?
4
What were the first?
Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Forrest
Two
Gump.
Kill Bills and Jackie Brown. Did you say Forrest Gump?
Yeah, Forrest Gump. The Little Mermaid.
When Forrest Gump killed
that
everybody.
would have been a way
And the Mighty Ducks too.
Wait a minute. You forgot Driving Miss Daisy. Where does that fit into the?
So Forrest Gump
God,
a box of chocolates. It was like
Imagine
Russian
Samuel
roulette.
Jackson instead of Morgan
There
Freeman.
you go. You gotta do that in your next podcast.
And Quentin Tarantino instead of the old lady.
Yeah,
I need you to do something. Fuck you, white lady.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
The reason I said that is when you said, movies that Quentin Tarantino should have directed, I thought of Driving Miss Daisy. And Samuel L. Jackson as the driver. I don't know who's the girl in the back.
That's a great idea.
That'd be a fun movie. Uma Thurman all dolled up and old.
Yeah.
All old up.
All right, I'm driving this white bitch around. Hell, shit.
So what do you guys think of it? Nobody has brought up the Hateful Eight today.
I love that one. I thought that was a callback to greatness. I thought that was the best movie he's done since he started getting
really
good.
You thought that highly of it.
Sick in the middle of
loved it.
You got sick. Wait, Kaz got sick in the middle of it. What was the thing?
I ate too many Junior Mints, maybe.
Yeah.
I had to go to the bathroom.
It was symbiote. I tried to go through it again. I mean, for me, like it was. I know he tried to do something where he tried to take a stage play and turn it into a movie. I just
That's kind of what it feels like. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
It does kind of feel that way because it's like one set for the most part.
Yeah.
You know,
I liked it.
The whole thing.
Right.
I liked it. I wouldn't say it was, like a blockbuster movie. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I thought
it was like a middle of the road Tarantino movie. Is kind of how
I agree with you. It's not his best, not his worst. It's like right there.
Yeah, it's like it had
right
a potential that it didn't quite
Yeah.
reach.
Yeah.
You know?
You guys know why I love it so much? Is because I love John Carpenter's The Thing. And strangely enough, that's
Is it
his
because
remake of
Kurt
The Thing.
Russell was in both of them? Is that?
And think about it. The Thing is all about people together in this closed part in winter. They can't escape.
Yeah.
And nobody knows who the other guy is. Nobody knows what the other guy's up to. It's paranoia. It's like, who the fuck is this stranger? I don't know. The whole dynamic that makes The Thing so intriguing, not just the gore and the monsters, is that. And I've after I saw the movie, somebody brought that up, and I was like, holy shit, you're right. I like the movie because it's almost like The Thing, where nobody knows.
I guess you'd have to like The Thing then.
Well, but it's interesting because Kurt Russell wasn't in any other Quentin Tarantino movies, was he?
He was in Death Proof.
Death Proof, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Recent ones. Two I haven't seen. Okay.
Well, I guess you could say Death Proof is recent, but it was 13 years ago.
Was that before?
Yeah.
Right over my head.
That was
2007. Before Hateful Eight, Matt?
Yes.
Before he? Okay.
Yeah, before
he came out with that Robert Rodriguez movie, Planet Terror, as a double feature.
But I saw it in theaters.
We did both of those, and I mean, I would say for listeners of it, if you watch the Grindhouse movies, at least for those two, reverse the order, it makes it way better.
Oh yeah, Planet of Terror is way more fun.
Yeah,
I heard it was the other way around. That Planet Terror was just kind of crap.
Yeah.
No,
well, no, man, no.
It's Grindhouse crap. It's what they were trying to do.
Yeah, because
Tarantino's in that one.
The chronology. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. You're gonna make me. You gotta make me remember that damn scene. I was in, but Death Proof chronologically is before the events of Planet Terror. And there's one scene where they're driving in.
Well, I've just started watching Death Proof. I haven't seen Planet Terror, so I don't know.
No, Planet Terror right after it. It's way better. It's really fun. It's one of my favorites. I actually do this lately where if I had to do chores, go to the grocery store. I have the soundtrack to Planet Terror in my ears, and it's really, really good if you want to get grocery store stuff done fast in the middle of the pandemic, to have a zombie movie soundtrack in your ears.
And Tarantino's
you don't have Goblin? You don't listen to Goblin for the Dawn of the Dead soundtrack?
Yeah, just looking to go get bread, and you're like,
you played that in a hotel room, and then they called the.
Yes, they did.
They thought it was a porno.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you guys. So you're doing these time machines. Are you planning on doing old school porn movies for your show? Like Deep Throat or Behind the Green Door?
The Devil and Miss Jones.
Right.
I think the Cinema Snob handles that pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of out of our realm a bit, but like.
Well, I mean, it's a time machine, right? You got to go back to the land of Bush.
Well, I was recently on a podcast where a friend of ours, the Going Hollywood podcast, and we reviewed the Super Mario Brothers movie. And the funny story on that is that movie was greenlit because somebody created a porn parody of the Super Mario Brothers show called Super Hornio Brothers, and Nintendo bought the rights to it and then greenlit whatever the hell they wanted in order to bury that porno version down.
That explains so much about that movie.
It's just like, okay, yeah, whatever we want, and it wasn't released till 2017, and then you're like, what the hell? And then you find out Ron Jeremy was cast as Luigi.
Oh, perfect casting.
He's a better Mario than a Luigi, I would think. Yeah. Dude, Jeremy should have been Mario, not Luigi.
Yeah, because
definitely.
No, because even like a nun who walks out of the monastery after 50 years says, Ron Jeremy, the guy who looks like Mario.
Yeah, John Holmes should have been Luigi.
Right.
But he's dead, right?
Yeah.
Well, not at the time he was alive, he wasn't.
Well, no, not at the time he was alive. He wasn't for sure.
Exactly.
But I
So you use him when he's alive, Brendan. not
Super
when
Mario
he's dead.
Brothers is one of those movies that I think, in a weird way, could have been a really great, fun, crazy, kooky movie, but it just sucked bad. The screenplay
It got
sucked.
wrong. It was bad because they greenlit it whatever the hell they wanted.
I was Koopa a mammal.
Yeah.
But it's
Koopa
so
was
kooky.
Donald Trump.
The
Oh,
turtle?
you're right. He was.
There's no one
Hey,
around that.
we're kind of coming to near the close. I want you guys to get some plugs in on your podcast. Tell people where they can hear the movie theater time machine and listen to your mellifluous tones.
I want to talk to these guys for 3 hours. Come on.
You do, Greg.
You
Well,
can
maybe
chat with
they'll
us
let you
anytime,
onto
dude.
their
You're fun.
podcast someday.
All
There
right.
you go.
Right.
All right. So you're definitely welcome on our side of the fence. We have cookies. Movie
cookies.
Yeah. Movie Theater Time Machine. We are available anywhere where there's a podcast. So, and there's also our parent company, 4041 Media, 4041 Media. There's several podcasts of the Fall River, Massachusetts area. Where you could see us there. That's our best way. But really just Google Movie Theater Time Machine. Find your catcher of choice. Just look us up and have an amazing time doing that because we have fun every weekend.
What's the main platform you guys on? Are you on Podbean? Is that where you publish?
Podbean.
Okay.
Podbean's our home platform, but we're everywhere else.
Got it. I know I was looking around for you, and I was like, "Is this the right one to listen to?" Because I never really know. I'm like, which one's the better one to listen to? And I guess
it's all the same, dude.
Is there anything bad you want to say about your co-hosts on the Movie Theater Time Machine since they're not here? Is there anything you want to get away with that they can't do anything about?
Get off your chest.
Me like that.
Hey, you co-host.
No, hey, I ain't gonna. Well, obviously, gonna say anything bad about my wife here.
No, I meant the ones who aren't here. The ones who weren't good enough.
Large.
The ones who weren't good enough to be on our show.
Well,
who are unwilling to participate with this.
Well,
annoyance
I can't
that we
say
have.
anything bad about them. I can't even joke about that. There are two very best friends in the world, and I would just say that. Really, no, we love Dan and Jess very much.
So, Kaz, you haven't spoken much during this time.
Haven't?
Not as much as I was hoping, anyway.
Cool.
So, is there anything that you would like to add to the rest of this particular show?
Yours.
This is
my
your
art still
day.
has nothing to do with the
Nick
show.
has a big head.
If you want to
I
talk a
have
little
Etsy
bit
shop.
about the fox hat or something.
I could talk about my Etsy shop.
Sure.
In Etsy shop, I sell cute animal related mugs and shirts and stickers, and I can draw your pets as cartoons and put them on things like shirts and stickers.
You said you have animal related mugs. Is this like mugs that are made out of dead animals?
Oh no, like
Like you have a petrified lemur or something that you can pour milk into, or
And sip.
that would be
Yes.
interesting.
yes.
I don't
Oh,
know a
it's
lot of
fine.
lemur pet owners, but go on.
Or petrified pets, petrified lemurs.
What's your Etsy address, Kaz?
What's your Etsy address?
P.O. Box 3, Etsy, Rhode Island, Massachusetts.
Turn left.
Tanzania.
So,
Turn left.
I
What
mean,
something used to be.
maybe I need a cartoon of my
Oh,
our
there's-
pod dog.
Yeah, because you do marketing, right, Kaz? Because Brendan has actually his own marketing business, so maybe there's a.
Marketing's like my weakest point. I draw the things. I do
But
the
you're
arts.
the artist for marketing
Yes.
companies, is what I'm saying. Like you
I'm
could
the artist,
create
but
stuff.
I can't find much work.
You're a creative type,
Yes, not a marketer.
not like a money grubbing type like Brendan over here.
I would love to
Right.
grub me some money. That'd be great.
Let's grab some money. So what's that Etsy
Yeah.
address?
www.etsy.com/shop/Kazfoxen. That's all one word. KAZFOXSEN. I'm on.
Okay.
USC.
I have a Facebook page and a Twitter and a Tumblr and all under that name.
Did you
I've
make
never
that hat?
understood Tumblr.
No, I did not make
What?
the hat.
That's why I
Tumblr?
said I didn't understand Tumblr, but we don't need to get into that right now. That's a whole different
He's old.
issue.
We're old.
I don't think Tumblr even exists anymore. Does it? I think they
It
got
does.
bought out by. Does it? Okay.
Yeah.
It still does, but they took a hit when they disallowed porn.
Yeah, no,
Lame.
they took a
That's
big
the
hit on
internet.
that.
Not that it affects my.
Fascists.
That's right. One thing Greg will never do is disallow porn.
I believe in freedom of speech. That's why. It's the only reason. It's on
All right,
principle.
well, I want to say thank you very much to Kaz and Nick from Movie Theater Time Machine for appearing on the Law Offices Quibble,
Yeah,
Squabble, and
thanks, you
Bicker.
guys.
We helped out our guest counsel, if I can
Within the
remember at
case.
this time, Hateful
Pulp
Pulp
Dogs.
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 Unchained.
I should write
So
these
did we
things
win?
down.
Yeah.
Did you win?
Yes, you
Yes,
won
you were
all
the
the
winner.
prizes.
You get every no prize there is.
All the no prizes that you could want for the rest of your life.
That is my Stanley
Awesome.
reference for the day. Is no prize.
Self-respect.
The
Awesome.
prize was
guys.
in us all along.
Thank you so very much, and I apologize for having to talk to us.
You've left the offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. It's over. It's over. It's time for you to go home. It's over. It's over. Go away now.